Hi, this is Linda with KC Creations by Linda. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on an Alice in Wonderland folio. It is from Lunic Art Designs, and I'll put a link to her store in the description box. Let's look at this little guy. I have used some, it's close to burgundy chiffon ribbon as its closure, and you can use whatever closure you would like. You can see the pretty teapots there on the side. It opens up. I have a little pocket here with mushrooms. Take those out so you can see. Then we have a big pocket here. And I've just added the eyelets and the dangles. You can do that if you want. And they're all backed. You don't have to back yours. You can just print on the other side if you would like. It's totally up to you. And we have little tickets. And here we have a little booklet you can write in. Here's your little kitty. Then it's going to swing open, and we've got 3 pockets here. And I've put eyelets in all mine. That's a preference of me. You could also put some baker's twine, little ribbon. There's the the Mad Hatter. There's Alice. There's the other little pocket. And here we have a big pocket envelope that holds these cards here. And I put this little card there, made it a little pocket. There's Ace of Spades, 2 little tickets. This is the back, another, excuse me, another big pocket. And these are little bulb pins. I just added some different colors of blue chiffon ribbon on. If that's something you want to do, it's not mandatory. So, let's look at the papers we're going to work with here. This is our folio, and this is the back. Now, what you can do is you can either glue these together, which is what I did, so you've got this, or you could take one of the backing papers, and there is more backing papers that you could use. It's a journal kit also, so there's 8 more pages to choose from than what I've showed you here. But you would just put this paper back in, choose whatever print you want, and print on the back of it, and you would have 2 folios. That's up to you. As you can see, the pretty roses. Remember the painted roses in the story? And then here, this is that big side pocket you showed where the cards were in there. There's ephemera. The little mushroom pockets. And there's the big pockets you saw. The little pocket I put on that one. Pockets, more ephemera. There's our little tickets. Cards. More pockets and cards. So, what you need to do is you need to decide on all of your ephemera if you want to back it with an additional layer of cardstock. And what I mean is take one of the back prints, whatever you want, and I cut out the cards and I glue them down. So it's 2 layers of cardstock. You don't have to do that. You can just put this back in the printer just like I told you to do these and print on the back. So that's up to you. what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get all my pieces ready, and I'll be right back. Alright, what I've done is I've cut out these two pieces that are going to go together like so. And when you cut them out, ladies, do the best you can. We're not machines. So let's say you got it a little off. Let's say, and some white was sticking out. Just take your craft knife or your scissors and just trim it off. We can only do the best we can do. Now, I have not scored any of this. First, we're going to glue it down together, and we're going to score on the lines. If you have a scoreboard, I saved one pocket. I've got all my pockets cut out and scored. What we're going to do is we're going to score along these lines for all of the new people. And you're going to line it up. And that's why I put these black marks. If what you're putting up at the top is not perfectly straight, your score line is not going to be straight. So I line this up. I'm using the 3 there, right in the middle of the groove. And I look down to make sure that it is also in the middle of the groove. I'm just going to score it like so. And if you don't have a scoreboard, you can use a ruler. If you've got a very thin ruler, just lay it along. Let me see if I got one here. This one's a little bit thick, so we don't want to do this one. What you would do is you would lay your ruler right along this line here and then score. Okay? If you don't have a stylus, just lay it along that line there, hold it tight, and just bend it over like this. And then you can just bend it over. So you don't need a scoreboard if you don't have one. I use a trimmer, craft knife, and scissors, and glue. I also ink all of my pieces. You don't have to do that either. Fold all your tabs to the inside. And there's kind of 2 methods of inking. If you like just a little light, then go like so. If you like it heavier, go around like this, and it'll lay down more ink. And that's all there is to it. So, let's get these, and whatever you've decided, whether you copied on the back or not, if you copied on the back, you can skip this step. I use Aleene's tacky glue. I like it because it's a little bit thicker, so it doesn't run so much. But you want to make sure you get your corners really good. And if it smushes out, we can just wipe it off. That's not a problem. You just don't want the layers to lift from each other. I hope I'm staying in camera. I'm notorious for working all over the place. A lot of people will take glue and paint it on with a paintbrush. I think that gets your paper way too wet and it'll tend to warp on you. So we want to make sure that we're right side up. See our hearts here? So get this one, make sure it is right side up, which would be this way, see? And we're going to line them up. Try not to get my head in the camera. See my messy hair? And we're just going to line them up the best we can. Might take you a couple tries to get them perfect. And by not being able to lean over, I'm kind of struggling here. But trust me, you don't want to see my hair. And just give it a press. We did pretty good. You can see a little bit of white there. We'll trim it off. Not a problem. Down good. And it looks pretty good on this side. This side I've got a tiny bit right there showing over. And that's just from cutting it out. I didn't do the same thing. Just trim it off. Make sure your knife is really sharp. This little guy doesn't want to let go. And if you ink, get a little closer to me, if you ink, you'll be able to cover up some of the little white pieces. Like, I'll leave this right here and I'll show you. If I wasn't inking, I would trim that tiny little bit off. But you just want to do the best you can. That's all we can do. Got a little bit right here. I didn't get it perfectly straight. No harm done. Doesn't change anything. There. Now, I'm going to ink it out. Remember our little white? There's a little white right there. And now it's gone. This is our front piece. We're going to score on this line and this line, right in the center of them. So we're going to find a good place there. Let's get over here on a number, because I've got my lines there. And we're going to score. And you want to do it 2 or 3 times, because I've got 2 pieces of cardstock here. I'm just turning it over so I have my lines, because I don't have any lines over there. Make sure it's nice and straight. Now, a lot of people will go and score this side, but it's not necessary, because it's only going to turn one way. So now we're going to, this is our front. It's going to go like so. So it's going to fold in along our score line. This is our inside. And we're going to fold this one in. Make sure we're still closing. Make any adjustments. Give it a good burnish. Then I might ink my folds. There, now we're ready to go. There. So this is what we have. This is when it was put together, and this is what we have now. So let's work on these little pockets here. And as you can see, this one's angled this way, the other way, and same as this one. So pick out your pockets that you want. Let's see. We'll do that one, this one, and this one. Okay, like so. So we're gonna put, let's see, this one will go first. And we're just gonna fold in our tabs because they're gonna overlap. Now they do not come to the edges or to the fold because that would hinder folding if we got the pocket too close to our fold line there. So just kind of get them even on each side. Let's give them a little try here. This one's next. Make sure I've scored them all correctly and they match up. Move this down to the bottom, get them lined up. There, that's how I want them, just like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to put, if I can get my ribbon off of it, I'll remove these pockets, the bottom one at least, lift it up, and I'm going to put a little line here. No one will ever see that. Get this straight. Put another little line there. Now, we're just going to put glue on our little tabs. I just put a little glue and then I kind of smear it out with the tip. So I'm going to get this one. I'm going to line him up with the little mark I made. Make sure he's even side to side. Don't need that little piece of glue. Make sure it's straight. And give him a press. We take our second one. My little line. And I'll show you one more time about backing your cards. I think I was a little bit out of frame. And y'all are probably screaming, "What are you doing? We can't see." Line it up with our little line we made there. Get them lined up along their edges. Now this little guy. This one goes all the way to the bottom. Get it lined up there. Get a little bit too much, just there. Now we've got this done. Now we're going to do the big envelope. Scored it the same way, inked around the edges. It's going to go right here. And we don't want him, again, right on the fold. So kind of hold it up, make sure when you lay it down that he's still going to close easily. And we're going to center it from here to here. lightly laying it down to make sure it's in the right position before I press it. Give it a test run there. Make sure you haven't got it far enough that it hinders this fold. Press it down. Now this is where I put this little tab and make a little pocket. You can do that if you want. It's totally up to you how you want to embellish it. So now let's do the backs. This will be the front. Okay. Here's our little tabs. Here's our little tabs. We're going to take our big blue one. We're going to do the same. Now, you also have another choice you can do. You can either glue this side down, put your cards in like so, glue that down so they're tight, or you can leave this open and this open. It depends, whatever you want to do. And again, stay away from your fold. I'm going to glue mine down. So I'm put a thin layer of glue right there. And I'm going to put a thin layer of glue at the top. Get them centered. And I'm not putting them all the way to the bottom. As you can see on this one, I left a little bit. And I'm about 1/4 of an inch from the fold on this side, on the right side. Now, I'll show you another little trick. Let's say I wanted to add a pocket, cover up my watch, like it's on this one. My little pocket is going to be too wide. See? Now, if that doesn't bother you, you can leave it like that. If it does, open the little guy up, center the little scallop in the center of this, and make you some new lines. There's all kinds of things you can do. Even though we scored it, we're going to score it again. I'm going to put a line there, and a line on the edge there. And we'll score it. And the new lines I made. Just fold it in on the new lines. I'm going to have to cut off, and I'm going to draw a little line so you can see what I'm doing. This is my score line, and this is my score line. Now originally, on these, you can see that the angle cut is right up to those lines, not over them, not over your score lines, but right to the edge of them on the outside. So that's what we need to do to these. So put a mark. Because if you were to fold it like this, you're going to have all this paper in there. We don't want that. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to trim it off right to where they meet. Where the score lines meet, just trim it off like so. Cut up to your score line, not over it. You never cut your score lines off. Then, if you want to cover up the pretty clock, we now have a pocket that fits. if I fold it correctly. There we go. And he'll fit just like that. And you can have another pocket. Now we're going to do this. This is the back, excuse me, the front. We're going to glue him here. And again, I'm going to glue my side down. We're going to put the bottom of this pocket even with that one. And you can just eyeball it. Get it centered between the fold line and the edge. Just give it a press. Now this one does have a pocket that goes on it. Fits very nicely right there. Sure your bottom is even and your sides. Just give it a good burnish. We're all lined up. And that is all there is to making the folio. We've got it all done here. And like I said, you can tie this with some twine or the ribbon, or you could put a Velcro dot. But if you used a Velcro dot, you're going to hinder this pocket. So maybe not that wouldn't be the best idea. And all we do now is put our ephemera in it. I have somewhere on my desk, and who knows where that might be now. I seem to have lost track of it. I cut out a card. I wanted to, here it is. Here we go. Okay. Because I think I was out of camera when I was showing you what I mean. If you want to back your cards, like I do, with another layer of cardstock, so it's 2 layers. Just turn it over, pick whatever you want. Just glue it down. And when you first cut them out, you don't have to cut right up to the edge if you don't want. You can leave, because we'll trim it all off. I'll put one way out here and I'll show you. See? So if this little guy was hanging over, not a problem. In other words, if you cut it out, let's use this. If you didn't cut up to the edge, you wanted to cut just around it like so. That way you only have to be precise one time. You would glue this down, then when you trim it, you can trim both pieces right around the edge there. But this is what I do. I actually glue it to the other piece of cardstock. Now if you don't want to do this, that's when you decide which backing paper you want to print on the other side. And there you go. And I would just ink around it, punch my little hole if I wanted. Punch a hole. I've got this. Just kind of line it up, give it a punch, and then I put an eyelet in there. You can use, I think I'll use a big one, like I did on the other ones. So let's flip this over, get a bigger hole. In there. Just like so. Then you can put some ribbon there, whatever you would like. So let's get our little guy going here. Got my cards. They're all backed inked around the edges. We're going to put those here. And this is what we're working on. This is where I took this little piece and glued it here. So I've got my cards in there. And we can just have our choices. You can even, if you wanted, take one of the pockets and you could glue it here if you wanted. Make you another pocket. So this is our front. Goes over like so. That's where I made the dangle. Just stick them in there however you want. Ribbon, no ribbon, it's up to you. And where you put your ephemera is up to you. Remember a cute little booklet. Put it here. Then we've got all these little spots here. But it's totally up to you how you want to do your card, your folio. And we have the back. Like so. If you want. We have more cards. Got enough in there, I think. Let's see. We don't want him there. We'll put this little guy there. And put this little guy there. There. You can do whatever you would like. This, you could even take this if you wanted. Instead of the roses, you could put this one there and then put your little tickets in. Like so. Easy peasy. Don't forget our little tickets. Now you can cut these apart. There is a long, it comes in a very long string. Let me get them. Here they are. You get 5 tickets along here. Now you can just score in between each one and fold them up like an accordion. You would fold it up. The next one you would fold this way. The next one you'd fold. So you can just accordion them up. Or you can cut them off and have a bunch of tiny little tags. Up to you. But that's it. It is that easy, ladies. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. I will put a link to Lunic Art Designs in the description box so that you can pick up your set. I'll put also a link to me where if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and I'd be glad to answer any question you might have. Thank you so much for your time. Until next time, stay crafty. Bye-bye.